Hey there, I'm Tara and you're watching Tara's Sims 4 builds, and today we are going to be doing a speed build of the Owl House from the show, The Owl House on the Disney Channel. So here's the Owl House picture I just got from Google as our inspiration. So the first thing we're going to do is it starts on a cliff. So I'm building a fake cliff using the terrain tools and some rock edges from base game. Using the old basement trick, take it down to the basement and then bring it up to where I want it on the top. As you can see, there's a little bit of lighting messed up in the back. I go back and I fix that. This just gives it more of that cliff edge and less of just like a water feature. Go ahead and delete the basement. Then I'm going to change the terrain paint. It's very reddish in the picture. This was pretty much as close as I could get. And then we're going to start with the build. So I'm just jumping in, getting the shapes that I want from the picture. I know that there's a bump out on each side, so I'm creating those bump outs. A lot of this changes several times. I really just wanted to get as close as I could to the picture using the tools that I had. I do not own every game or every expansion pack, or all the packs that come with The Sims 4. I don't own them all. So I do use custom content a few times in this video just to get as close as I can. I will try to link those below, the custom content I used. Back here, I'm just making the base for our tower using the pie pieces. Then I'm going to remove the walls. That'll just make it easier to copy and paste later on when I want to finish the tower. I'm just doing it there because I needed placement of where I wanted my building to be. This side part does not have a roof. It just has a half wall. So I'm just adding that in, and then we're going to start to roof it. So I'm using a half gabled piece for the side part. It's arched. The roofs in this video were incredibly hard. I did them multiple times. I've cut a lot of the randomness out of the video. Without a speed build, this took me over 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I would say probably an hour of that was just spent on trying to get the roof correct. I am no expert at roofing by any means. There are some other simmers out there that make it look really easy, and I am over here struggling like I've never used a computer in my life. So again, I'm just still messing around with the shape. I want it to flip up, which can be really difficult, so I'm trying like different things to get the shape that I want by adding different roof pieces, moving them around, just trying to get the shape that I want. See, I want that flip out, and it has been difficult to accomplish. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe if I just use 2 half gabled pieces, I can get the shape that I want. You are lucky you are not watching this in original speed. This was so frustrating for me. This was the hardest part of the build for me, was this roof. And I get the shape I want, and then of course there's a hole in it, so you got to fix that, and then that doesn't work anymore. So again, a lot of back and forth. I probably could have cut a lot of this. But I just want you to know, if you're out there struggling with roofing, you are not the only one. I've been playing The Sims for years, like since Sims 1. And I still suck at it. I just recently started playing Sims 4, so I'm still getting used to a lot of the different aspects, the building aspects, and how to get things the way that I want them within the game. So at this point, we're looking pretty good. Still trying to get everything to match. The roof is blue in the picture, and it's like a tiled, looks like a tiled roof, so that's why I went with this particular roof paint. Trying to make sure it's all perfect the way I want it before I move on. And I realized that my chimney is no longer where I wanted it once I added that second roof piece. onto the left side of the build, so I had to move that around. So again, there's just a lot of trial and error trying to get things to be perfect, look the way you want. I do decide to go ahead and use a hill platform thing here that I struggled with for a little bit because this is not something I normally do in my builds, but it is in the picture, so I wanted to see if I could create it, and it actually worked the first time, which is pretty shocking for me. Then I'm going back in and messing with that roof again. I should, you know, at one point I just go, that's it, that's as good as it's gonna get, and I'm gonna leave it. But again, here I am messing with it still, because I like torture. I love to frustrate myself, I guess. So still trying to put it in the position that I want it in, and of course line it up. And then I go back to where it started from, because again, it was already as good as it was gonna get. I go ahead and copy and paste my tower to build a 4-story tower, and then we're gonna get into some painting. Again, just trying to find swatches in game that sort of match. Trying not to use any custom content for paint swatches, which is hard sometimes. You'll see as I scroll through that I have a ton of custom content paint. Gonna use the pretty plaster, which is like this nice white brick, for the rest of the build. There's a different color on the fireplace. And then I'm gonna go in and I end up darkening up the stone on the tower because I knew the pieces that I was gonna add to the top were also darker, so I wanted it to flow a little bit nicer than it would have with just this lighter gray stone. Again, see, there's all my custom content. So I'm trying to keep away from it just for the paint, because we did have some options within game that I could use. Same with windows. None of my windows are custom content. I just tried to use what I could use from the game. So the big owl house window in the front is going to be obviously way different. I could not find round wood columns that I like. So I do use round wood ones from, that's CC, because they match and they were really what I needed. Again, I only use CC if it's like I can't find anything else. I'm gonna use it for some roof detail above the door as well, because we don't have anything in game that is like that. So you can see I'm using the Realm of Magic mirror, or window. And I'm turning it inside out so that all you see is the circle part. And I think that the moon, you know, the moon vibe goes with an owl. Owls come out at night, so I think the vibe is pretty cool. Then I'm trying to find a small archway window. I believe that's from Cottage Living. And then a larger one. And I mess around with a few different packs for the larger one and end up with Get Together. Now I am placing them in the exact same spaces from the picture, but I end up adding extra. I just don't want it to be super dark on the inside. And it's quite a large space to only have a very few tiny windows. So just fixing up the chimney to match it better. I'm gonna add the gold thing at the top. Also think that that might be, that's either vampires or cottage living. It's supposed to also represent Hootie. There's a big owl at the top of the house. There's a yellow little flower growing there. Now these are base game. I just enlarged them once to make them bigger. And then there's that roof I was talking about that was gonna be a CC piece, because ours that look like that, the ones in game, are not arched, or they're arched and have a fill, and it doesn't have a fill, and so I decided to go with CC for that because it actually looks way better. So these are from Cottage Living, just to top off my tower, which I think looks pretty cool. And then I'm going to be looking through Debug, Live Edit to find some broken archways. And if you're familiar with the Owl House, the archway once held the actual eyeball window from the house. I'm not really sure how it got destroyed and broken, and then Ida made it part of her house, but that's what happens. So I'm kind of looking for the broken pieces. You can see I tried train tracks. I tried a lot of different things, just kind of playing around, seeing what I could get with the right shape. Looking for things like sculptures, anything that I can get to kind of look like it. There's lots of pine trees in this build, so when I see it, I do pull it out. So I find these and I decide that they look good. I end up putting up 3 just to make it look like it did go all the way around at one point. So I am copying and pasting some windows from the front to the back. And again, I do have a picture of the back of the house that I got off the internet. So I'm just trying to copy those windows, put them in the same places. The kitchen window is going to be completely different. It's a large arched window next to the door. So I find a base game door to put, and I know that I end up using Realm of Magic windows. I built my own large arch by using the 2 side pieces and then 2 of the center pieces here. And then again, I go in and I'm adding more windows because having, 3 windows on that large back wall doesn't make a lot of sense. Then I'm looking for, there's a little flower area back here. It's actually just a tree. So I'm using these little they're not patio, balcony, like Juliet balconies. Is that what they're called? Romeo and Juliet balconies? I think it's Juliet balcony, I'm not sure. Just to make a large enough flower box for what I wanted. I'm just adding some little gable pieces at the bottom and then raising up some bushes to make it look the way that I want. I'm sure they're poking in on the inside and I'll have to figure out a way to cover them up later. But right now we're only concerned with the outside of the build. So I'm just trying to get the shape that I want. It's very bubbly and cartoony because obviously it's a cartoon. So I'm trying to replicate that within the Sims by using very specific plants to give that bubbly shaped. I loved the idea of using the vines from Country Living, but they were just not working out. They were not bulbous enough. There's a good vocabulary word for you, bulbous. Now I'm going to add the small windows onto the stone portions of the house. These are from, I think, Get to Work, I want to say. I can't see where they're from, to be honest, but I think that they're from Get to Work. So I'm just kind of adding them all over the tower so that we do have some light on the tower, adding a door. I do want the tower to end up being functional. I think we're going to put some cool stuff in it. And all the vines, all these reddish vines, I'm using Vampire Pack and the Get Together Pack because they are 2 tones of red, and in the photo it is 2 tones, a darker and a lighter, and so this was sort of the best option to get those. And I'm using different sizes because I don't want it to all look super square. So by using different sizes and using the Alt key for placement, I can make it look a little more organic and less Minecrafty with all the squares. So just fully adding that. There's that extra little spot that's in the picture that I made sure to keep. And just trying to go in and make it look a little more organic in certain spots. I do go back and move the door because I was worried that the door wouldn't fit. I was trying another roofing detail just to see if it worked, and I didn't like it, so I ended up taking it off. Sometimes you just have to try things. Then I realized I had no windows on the side of the house, so I had to go put those in. And I used the 2 different arched windows again that I have been using throughout the build. Add a door to the balcony, and then of course more pine trees. And then we're going to do some more with the terrain by adding some rocks, some bluffs. I really don't know what you would consider those really large pieces, But I go and I do the basement trick again. I want to put this hill inside stone. So to do that, I do the basement trick, take the rock down into the basement, raise it back up, and so it just sort of pops out the front, or not the front, the top, and it makes it look like this was like, you know, part of a huge cliff that you sort of flattened in order to put this tower on top of it. It ends up making it look a little more natural. I think there is a little bit of funkiness with some lighting, but I'm just trying to fill it in, make it look realistic and not too planned out. So sometimes I size them down or size them up or flip them around just to make them look a little more individual and less identical to each other. So you can see on this side I've got some shading issues, and I don't know why the game does that. I'm doing the exact same thing that I've done for everything else, and it still happens. I probably could have sped this part up for you, but this is, you know, it's already sped up pretty fast. So now I'm just deleting that part of the basement, which actually ended up helping with my lighting. I don't know how. Usually it makes it worse, but it did end up helping my lighting in this scenario, so we keep it. Adding some rocks to the edge just to finish it off. There are a few little rock parts over here. I'm going straight over the sidewalk because there's no sidewalk next to this house, so I don't really care if I cover it up or not, to be honest. This rock kept hopping up though, and I couldn't figure out why, so I just went ahead and traded it. And we're gonna finish off with a little more terrain paint to make it look more like the picture. Oh, yep, I end up moving the door. I was afraid they wouldn't be able to access the door, and like I said, I want it to be usable. I go in with the concrete in the front. There is this concrete piece in 2 different shades of gray that I put in. And I add a few stones. Those are also in the picture. And then I'm gonna mess with some light sand colors to make the pathways. And I do end up in a minute using the tiny square, because for some reason in the picture, just the way the artist drew it, it is kind of squared off. It gives me Minecraft vibes. Granted, I've never played Minecraft, but I know everything's made of squares. So still just messing with them, trying to get it look a little more darker, a little more natural. It's a lot of finagling, as it were, just trying to get things to be perfect. Where did the word finagling come from? What a weird word. If you know where that word came from, let me know in the bottom, because I'll probably forget, but I do kind of want to look that up and see where it came from. It's a very interesting word. Anyway, still messing around, kind of making those square bits come out in different areas, and that, my friends, is pretty much it. I am going to be furnishing it. I'm considering doing furnishing live, but I'm not sure. Just messing with some more trees to fill it out. Oh, there's a little bit of greenery on the side here, so I do go in and I add that in really quick. Again, more trees just to make it look more woodsy in the back. Another bulbous cartoon tree. And then there's a yellow tree that sticks out. I don't have seasons, so of course I can't have a yellow tree, so I just had to use the yellowest tree I could find. Oh no, Tara, leave the roof alone. Don't go back. Don't go back. So that's it. That's the whole video. This is Riley. I'm sure he'll make more appearances on my channel in the future. If you liked it, awesome. Thumbs up, subscribe. I don't know. Do what you want. I don't really care. I like this. This is fun for me. I would love to hear suggestions of either what I could have done better or future build ideas. If you want to subscribe so that you can see more of my content, that would be awesome. But again, no pressure. It's for fun. Okay, guys? It's for fun. But I hope I see some of you back, and I do really hope I get some suggestions of things I could have done better or for future builds, because that's what the community is all about, figuring out new things together. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.